Chosen one, congratulations, it is over. The chapter that kept testing your patience has reached its final page. The pressure that followed you into quiet rooms does not get to follow you forever. You have carried enough. You have learned enough, and what comes next will not require you to repeat the same lesson through the same pain. For a long time, you wondered when relief would finally become real. You kept waking up with the same weight in your thoughts. You handled responsibilities that nobody fully understood. You smiled when people needed strength from you, but in private, you kept asking one question: how much longer do I have to survive what I already proved I could survive? That question matters. Heaven is not ignoring it. There are seasons when endurance forms something deep inside a person, but endurance was never meant to become your permanent identity. You were not created only to withstand pressure. You were created to move with wisdom after pressure has finished its work. This is the moment when survival begins turning into peace. Look back without judging yourself. Think about how many times you had to start again with almost nothing left. Think about the doors that closed after you prayed for them to stay open. Think about the people you loved who could not understand what you were becoming. You did not imagine that exhaustion. You lived through a season that demanded more from you than anyone could see. Still, you kept going. You learned how to move without applause. You learned how to protect your peace without explaining every boundary. And you discovered that silence can be stronger than proving yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. That was not wasted time. It was preparation for a version of you that no longer needs chaos to recognize strength. This is why the word congratulations matters so much. It is not empty praise. It is recognition. You reached a point where the old pattern can no longer teach you anything new. The repeated disappointment has delivered its lesson. The waiting has exposed what needed to be exposed. And the version of you who once tolerated confusion has become too clear to return to it. You may have noticed something changing already. Certain conversations feel finished before they even begin. Old fears do not have the same authority over your choices. You are less interested in chasing explanations. You are more protective of your time. These changes can feel unfamiliar, but they are signs that your inner world is no longer agreeing with the season you just survived. Chosen one, pay attention to that quiet shift. The ending may not arrive with thunder. Sometimes the strongest endings feel like a sudden absence of resistance. You wake up and realize you are no longer rehearsing the same argument. You hear a name and your body stays calm. You remember what happened, but the memory no longer controls the direction of your day. That is a different kind of victory. It is not revenge. It is not proving that everyone else was wrong. It is freedom. The deepest sign that a battle is finished is when you no longer need the battlefield to validate your strength. You can leave it behind without carrying the noise into the next room. You can honor what you learned without living there again. Some of you have been afraid to believe this could really be over. Every time peace appeared, you prepared for another interruption. Every time something good arrived, part of you waited for the cost. That reaction makes sense after a long season of uncertainty. But you do not have to treat every open door like a disguised warning. Peace can be unfamiliar and still be real. Your next lesson is not how to fight harder. It is how to stop expecting war in places where God is giving you rest. That will require trust. It will require patience with yourself. And it will require the courage to stop rebuilding the walls that once kept you safe. Protection helped you survive one chapter, but discernment will guide you through the next one. There is something else you need to understand. The hardest part of a long trial is not always the trial itself. Sometimes the hardest part is accepting that it has ended. Your mind becomes used to scanning for the next problem. Your heart becomes used to holding something back. Then peace arrives, and instead of receiving it, you wonder what you forgot to fear. Do not shame yourself for that response. Notice it, then choose differently. You can tell yourself that today is not yesterday. You can remind your spirit that a closed chapter does not need another explanation. And when an old memory tries to pull you backward, you can answer with a simple truth. I learned what I needed to learn, and I am allowed to move forward now. This is where the separation becomes clear. You are not the same person who entered that season. The old version of you needed approval before making a decision. The old version of you stayed too long because leaving felt like failure. The old version of you confused loyalty with self-abandonment. But now, your peace has become valuable enough that you will not trade it for temporary acceptance. That is the first evidence that it is over. You no longer negotiate with what repeatedly drains you. You can care about someone without giving them unlimited access. You can forgive without reopening every door. You can remember without returning. And you can bless what is behind you while still choosing a future that looks completely different from the past. Stay with this message, because the next truth is the one many people miss. An ending does not only remove pain, it creates space, and empty space can feel uncomfortable before it feels sacred. You may be tempted to fill it quickly with another relationship, another responsibility, another crisis, or another promise. Do not rush to replace what God finally helped you release. Let the space remain open for a moment. Let your nervous system learn the rhythm of ordinary peace. Let mornings become simple again. Let your thoughts return to things that create life, instead of only managing emergencies. You are not becoming less powerful because you are calmer. You are becoming more precise, because your energy is no longer leaking into battles that have already ended. And this is where your identity begins to change. You are not only the person who survived, you are the cycle breaker who learned when to stop repeating what hurt. You are the one who can recognize a familiar pattern and choose a new response. The victory is not that pain never touched you. The victory is that pain no longer gets to write the instructions for your future. So receive the congratulations without suspicion. You earned the wisdom that came from this season, but you do not owe the season your permanent residence. Something has completed, something has loosened. Something that once demanded all of your attention is losing its claim on you. And in the next part, you will understand why this ending had to happen before the new chapter could safely begin. Chosen one, now you need to understand why this ending took so long to arrive. It was not because heaven forgot you. It was not because your prayers were ignored. The delay had a purpose. You were learning what peace feels like before entering a season where you will need enough clarity to protect it. For years, you may have believed that progress meant pushing harder. You thought strength meant staying longer. You thought faith meant tolerating more. But some seasons end when you stop proving how much pain you can carry, because endurance without discernment can quietly become another form of captivity. This is the reframe you've been waiting for. What felt like loss was often separation. What felt like silence was often protection. What felt like rejection was sometimes redirection. Some doors stayed closed because the version of you moving forward could not keep dragging the same weight behind. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. That difference changes everything. Punishment makes you shrink, but preparation teaches you how to carry what comes next without returning to the patterns that once controlled you. The pressure had an ending. The wisdom it produced gets to remain. And this is why your recent calm matters. You are not becoming detached. You are becoming clear. Not every message needs a response. Not every accusation needs a defense. Not every invitation deserves access to your energy. The old you reacted because survival felt urgent, but the new you pauses and chooses from peace. When your mind has spent years expecting pressure, calm can feel unfamiliar. Your attention learns to search for problems before they arrive. That is why peace may feel empty at first. The absence of chaos can seem suspicious, when chaos was the environment you learned to survive inside. But emptiness is not always absence. Sometimes it is capacity. It is space being cleared for something healthier. Many people escape one exhausting season and recreate another because tension feels familiar. Do not confuse familiarity with destiny. A pattern can feel normal and still be finished. You have already seen evidence of this. You are less impressed by intensity. You notice when a situation demands too much explanation. You sense when your peace is being traded for temporary connection. These changes show that your inner standards are rising before your outer circumstances fully catch up. There is something I want to place in your awareness here, because this next chapter also involves the quality of your attention. After long periods of pressure, many people describe mental noise, scattered focus, and distance from the sharper intuition they remember having before life became so heavy. A tool called the Genius Song was created around the idea of restoring that kind of mental clarity. It is a 7-minute audio built around brain entrainment and gamma activity. You do not need to make any decision about it now. Just remember the name, because later I will explain why this idea connects with the transition you are experiencing. For now, stay with the deeper truth. The goal is not to become somebody else. The goal is to return to the clarity that pressure buried. You have not lost your creativity. You have not lost your discernment. You have not lost the part of you that could sense direction before fear became louder than wisdom. This is where your season turns. You stop asking how to survive another cycle, and you start asking why the cycle keeps repeating. That question gives you power. It moves you from reaction into observation. Once you can see a pattern clearly, you are no longer trapped inside it in the same way. Chosen one, this is what threatens the old version of your life. You can see now. You recognize manipulation before it becomes attachment. You recognize exhaustion before it becomes resentment. You recognize false urgency before it steals your peace. Awareness is quiet, but it changes everything that follows. Think about the last time something tried to pull you back into an old emotional cycle. Maybe someone expected the same reaction. Maybe a familiar fear returned. Maybe an opportunity carried the same confusion you already escaped. Something inside you paused. That pause was not weakness, it was discernment, interrupting repetition. That is how freedom often begins. Not with a loud miracle, with one different response, with one boundary you do not explain, with one morning where you refuse to rehearse yesterday. Then another choice follows, and the pattern starts losing power because you are no longer feeding it automatically. Do not underestimate these quiet victories. Heaven often changes a life by changing what a person will no longer agree with. First comes the internal refusal. You stop agreeing with chaos. You stop agreeing with confusion. You stop agreeing with relationships that require you to abandon yourself to keep them. This does not make you cold. It gives your compassion structure. You can love and still say no. You can forgive and still choose distance. You can pray for someone and refuse to return to the role that drained you. Mature peace is strong enough to remain kind without surrendering its boundaries. There is a reason this matters before your next season opens. A healthy relationship can feel unfamiliar if chaos taught you what love should feel like. A good opportunity can be missed if fear controls every decision. Peace must become familiar enough that you can recognize what is aligned with it. That is why the ending came before the increase. First, the cycle had to break. First, your standards had to rise. First, you had to learn that not every quiet moment is the calm before another storm. You needed to become someone who could receive without immediately preparing to lose. The old season trained you to react. The new one is teaching you to receive. Reacting keeps your attention tied to whatever is loudest. Receiving requires enough stillness to notice what is actually yours. It requires trust, discernment, and the courage to believe that good things do not always carry another hidden battle. You are learning that now. Peace is not something you must earn by suffering longer. It is something you are allowed to protect. Boundaries are not walls against love. They are filters that help healthy love enter without bringing the same confusion that exhausted you before. Some people may not understand your new patterns. They may say you changed. They may try to summon the version of you that was easier to access. Do not let their discomfort become proof that your growth is wrong. Sometimes resistance appears because an old arrangement is ending. Do not rush to fill the space that has opened. You do not need to force a new relationship, opportunity, or identity because the old chapter is gone. Let quiet teach you what noise concealed. What truly belongs in your next season will not require you to betray your peace. And now we are approaching the deeper reason this cycle could finally end. Beneath the behavior was a belief you carried for years without realizing it. Once that hidden belief is exposed, you will understand why the old pattern kept returning, why it has lost its authority now, and why you do not have to live that lesson again. Chosen one, the hidden belief beneath the old cycle was simple. You began to believe that peace had to be earned through suffering. You learned to expect difficulty before receiving anything good. And over time, your mind started treating struggle as proof that you were moving in the right direction. That belief kept you strong, but it also kept you tired. Now that belief is being challenged. God is not asking you to prove your worth by surviving endless pressure. He is teaching you to recognize when a lesson has already done its work. There is a difference between perseverance and repetition. Perseverance carries you through what must be faced, but repetition keeps you returning to what has already been completed. This pattern is not new. Scripture is filled with people who had to leave one environment before they could understand the meaning of the next. Moses could not remain in Egypt forever. David could not stay hidden among sheep forever. Joseph could not remain inside the prison forever. Preparation had a purpose, but preparation was never the destination. That is the part many people forget. They honor the wilderness so deeply that they become afraid to leave it. They learn how to survive uncertainty. Then they carry the same survival posture into every open door. But when God changes a season, the posture must change too. What protected you yesterday can become unnecessary weight tomorrow. Think about Moses for a moment. The wilderness taught him patience, humility, and dependence. It stripped away the identity he once carried in Pharaoh's house. But there came a moment when hiding was no longer obedience. The same desert that protected him eventually became the place he had to leave. A new assignment required a new response. Chosen one, that is where you are emotionally right now. You are standing between the identity that survived and the identity that can receive. The first identity knows how to endure. The second knows how to trust. The first watches every doorway for danger. The second uses discernment to decide which doors deserve attention and which ones can be entered without fear. There is a spiritual principle inside that change. What no longer controls your attention no longer controls your direction. When fear loses your attention, it loses influence. When an old wound stops defining every choice, it stops governing your future. And when you stop interpreting every delay as rejection, your mind becomes available for wisdom again. This is where your clarity starts returning. Pressure can narrow attention, until all you can see is what might go wrong. Long uncertainty can make even simple decisions feel heavy, but as the nervous system settles, the mind regains space. You begin noticing patterns again. You hear your own thoughts more clearly. You become less reactive and more precise. For now, the deeper work is simpler. Stop assuming that every good thing must arrive wrapped in struggle. Stop treating peace as a temporary break before another test. You have enough evidence from the past to know that suffering can teach. But now you need evidence that peace can teach too, because your next season requires a different kind of strength. Peace teaches you to notice. Peace teaches you to choose. Peace teaches you what your nervous system could not hear while it was constantly preparing for impact. And when peace becomes familiar, unhealthy intensity loses its attraction. You stop calling chaos passion. You stop calling inconsistency mystery. You stop calling emotional exhaustion loyalty. That does not mean you become suspicious of everyone. It means you become available to truth. Discernment is not fear wearing spiritual language. It is the ability to remain calm long enough to see what is actually happening. Fear rushes. Wisdom watches. Fear assumes. Wisdom tests. Fear demands certainty immediately, but wisdom can remain steady while more information arrives. This is why your old cycle cannot continue in the same form. The person who once maintained it is changing. You are no longer offering the same reactions. You are no longer available for every argument. You no longer believe that love requires constant proof. A pattern survives through participation, and your participation is being withdrawn. There may still be moments when the old instincts return. A delayed message may trigger an old fear. A closed door may remind you of former rejection. An unexpected change may tempt you to prepare for the worst. But now you have a new question. Is this danger in front of me, or is this memory asking me to relive something that already ended? That question creates space, and inside that space, you regain choice. You do not have to obey every emotional alarm. You can listen, examine, and decide. This is spiritual maturity in practical form. It does not make you emotionless. It makes you less controlled by emotions that belong to yesterday. Remember Elijah after the intensity of Mount Carmel. He experienced power, then exhaustion. He reached a point where more intensity was not the answer. What followed was rest, nourishment, and a quieter encounter with God. That sequence matters. Sometimes heaven does not respond to exhaustion with another battle. Sometimes the instruction is to recover enough to hear clearly again. You have been trained to expect the next fight. But what if the next instruction is rest? What if your obedience now looks less like pushing and more like receiving? What if the proof that the old season is over is not that everything becomes perfect, but that you stop allowing yesterday to define the emotional meaning of today? This is the authority behind the message. The pattern of Scripture is not endless suffering without transition. There are wilderness seasons, prison seasons, hidden seasons, and waiting seasons. But there are also crossings, releases, restorations, and new assignments. The chapter changes when its work is complete, even if your emotions need time to catch up. And that brings us closer to the truth you need before the climax. The greatest obstacle in front of you may no longer be the person who hurt you, the door that closed, or the season that exhausted you. The remaining obstacle may be the expectation that history must repeat itself. If that expectation breaks, the old cycle loses the final place where it can hide. Chosen one, stay close now. The next part will expose the exact way that expectation has been shaping your choices without permission. Once you see it, you will understand why congratulations is not premature. You will understand why the ending is real, and you will see what must be released so you never rebuild the prison after God has already opened the door. Chosen one, now we have reached the place where the old cycle loses its final hiding place. The deepest barrier was not the person who disappointed you. It was not the door that closed. It was the expectation that pain would always return. You learned to prepare for hurt before joy arrived, and that habit followed you long after the original battle ended. This is the hidden blocker. You became so skilled at surviving that survival started feeling safer than receiving. You knew how to manage disappointment. You knew how to stay guarded. But when peace finally appeared, part of you still searched the room for danger because your body remembered Clarky's spirit was trying to release. That is why this ending must become internal before it becomes visible everywhere else. You cannot build a new season while emotionally rehearsing the old one every morning. You cannot receive a healthy connection while expecting betrayal from every silence. You cannot walk through an open door while assuming every opportunity is another trap. Hear this carefully. You are not being asked to forget what happened. You are being asked to stop giving it authority. Memory can remain without becoming prophecy. Wisdom can remain without becoming fear. The lesson can remain without forcing you to repeat the classroom. This is where you separate what taught you from what tried to define you. For some of you, that separation feels uncomfortable. You have spent so long fighting that calm feels like you are missing something. You have spent so long solving problems that an ordinary day can feel strangely empty. But that emptiness may simply mean something heavy finally stopped demanding your attention. This is where congratulations becomes real. The trial is not over because every problem disappeared. It is over because the version of you who kept feeding the same pattern is no longer in control. You can see what you could not see before. You can pause where you once reacted. You can walk away where you once begged for understanding. That is power, not domination, not revenge. Power is the ability to remain yourself when an old trigger asks you to become your wounded version again. Power is seeing the familiar invitation and choosing a different answer. Power is realizing that you no longer need closure from the people who helped create the confusion. The final chain was expectation, and once expectation changes, your future becomes available to new evidence. A kind word can be kind. A peaceful morning can simply be peaceful. A healthy opportunity does not have to hide a punishment. You can experience goodness without interrogating it. This is where your mind needs support as much as your spirit needs permission. Earlier I mentioned the Genius song because its creators present it as a simple audio tool designed around brain entrainment and gamma activity. This is the moment to explain why that idea may connect with the transition we are talking about. The premise is not that an audio track creates your identity. It does not make you chosen. It does not replace prayer, wisdom, or your own decisions. The idea is simpler. It is presented as a way to support a calmer and more focused mental state, so the clarity you are rebuilding has less noise competing for your attention. Dr. Robert Lake is presented as the neuroscientist behind the audio, with decades of experience connected to its development. The material also references MIT, Princeton, and other universities when discussing gamma activity. The important point is the mechanism the product claims to use, not a promise of instant miracles. The audio lasts 7 minutes. It is designed to be heard through stereo headphones. You sit quietly and listen once per day. There is no complicated ritual or long routine to memorize. The appeal is simplicity, especially for someone who already feels mentally overloaded. And this is where the identity connection matters. You are not trying to become somebody you were never meant to be. You are trying to recover access to the clearer version of yourself that pressure kept interrupting. Maybe you remember being more creative when you were younger. Maybe your mind once moved with less hesitation. The product describes that lost sharpness through the language of gamma activity. Its creators call the gradual reduction of that state a decline effect. Whether that framing resonates with you or not, the practical question is simple. What would change if your next season was supported by more clarity instead of more force? You may be thinking that you have already tried too many things. Maybe you have used meditation apps or bought courses. Maybe you have tried therapy or retreats that required more time than you could maintain. That hesitation is understandable when you are tired of hearing promises everywhere. The Genius Song is listed at $39 as a one-time purchase for people coming through this message. Its regular listed price is $49. The offer also includes 4 additional resources that the product values at a combined $80. So the decision is not being framed around the audio alone. One bonus is a shorter audio created for children and valued at $19. Another is a classic book valued at $20. A guided visualization is valued at $29. The final resource is a 5-habit infographic valued at $12. Together, the product materials value these bonuses at $80. There is also a 90-day money-back guarantee. According to the product materials, you can request a refund during that period and still keep the 4 bonuses. The same materials report more than 18,000 users and describe the refund rate as below 4%. Those are product claims, so use your own discernment when reviewing them. I also want to protect you from one mistake. Do not search randomly for copies using the product name. The product materials warn that imitation pages and ordinary audio tracks may use similar language without being the original version. If you decide to look at it, use the page connected in the description or the pinned comment to review the exact offer referenced here. Now pause for a moment. You do not need to make a rushed decision. Ask yourself one question. Does supporting your clarity fit the person you are becoming? If the answer is yes, you can review the information below when this message ends. If the answer is no, keep the lesson anyway, because the deeper breakthrough was never dependent on a purchase. The important thing is that you stop abandoning your own clarity. Stop handing your attention back to the cycle that exhausted you. Stop assuming that more confusion is required before you are allowed to move forward. The old season taught you how to survive. This new season is asking you to become available to peace, focus, and deliberate choice. And now, the final truth can be spoken without fear. You do not have to go through that again in the same way because you are not entering the future with the same awareness. The pattern has been named. The hidden expectation has been exposed. Your response has changed. In the final part, we will seal that change, so you leave this message carrying peace instead of another reason to worry. Chosen one, this is the moment to let the message settle. You have heard why the chapter ended. You have seen the pattern beneath the pain. Now the final step is not more analysis, it is agreement. You are allowed to stop carrying what has already taught you everything it came to teach. Take a quiet breath. Let your shoulders soften. You do not need to force a feeling. Just notice what is different inside you now. The old story may still be familiar, but familiarity is not authority. A memory can visit without becoming a command, and an old fear can speak without receiving your obedience. This is how a cycle truly closes. It closes when the pattern returns and you answer differently. It closes when confusion knocks and you refuse to abandon your peace. It closes when someone reaches for the version of you they once controlled, but that version no longer comes to the door. That is not bitterness. That is growth with boundaries. You have spent enough time questioning whether you were allowed to move on. You are. The past mattered. It shaped you. But what shaped you does not have to own you, because wisdom can remain after pain loses its place in your daily life. Chosen one, let this truth become simple. You do not need another disaster to prove that you are strong. You do not need another betrayal to prove that you have discernment. You have already learned what survival can teach, and now you are ready to learn what peace can teach. Peace will teach you patience without fear. Peace will teach you connection without losing yourself. Peace will teach you to recognize people who do not require constant recovery after every interaction. And peace will teach you that a quiet life is not a small life, because clarity grows where unnecessary noise has finally been removed. There may be days when the old reflex appears again. Do not panic. Growth does not disappear because a memory returned. You can notice the old response without becoming it. You can say to yourself, "This feeling is familiar, but my choice is new." That sentence can become a doorway back into the present. This is your responsibility now. Protect your clarity. Protect your time. Protect the quiet voice inside you that becomes easier to hear when every crisis is no longer allowed to become your emergency. You are not closing your heart. You are learning how to keep it open without leaving every door unlocked. Those questions matter because your future is shaped by what you repeatedly allow. The old cycle survived because certain things became normal. Confusion became normal. Overgiving became normal. Waiting for permission became normal. But normal can change. A healthier pattern begins when peace stops feeling like a reward and starts becoming a standard. Chosen one, say this quietly in your heart. I release what is finished. I release the need to replay what I cannot change. I release the urge to prepare for pain before anything has happened. I choose wisdom without fear. I choose boundaries without guilt. I choose peace without needing to apologize for it. Let those words settle. You are not erasing your history. You are changing your relationship with it. The past can become evidence of what you survived, instead of a map telling you where you must go next. It can become a teacher instead of the title of your whole life. And if the tool I mentioned earlier feels aligned with that process, review it with patience and discernment. The information for the Genius Song is in the description and pinned comment connected to this message. Read what is presented there. Ask your own questions. Then decide from clarity, not pressure, because the deeper work of this message belongs to you either way. Now we close the loop that opened at the beginning. What is over? The belief that suffering must repeat before you are allowed to grow. The belief that every peaceful season hides another punishment. The belief that your past has permanent voting rights over your future. Those beliefs no longer deserve the authority you once gave them. What will you never have to go through again in the same way? You will not meet the next challenge with the same blindness. You will not enter the same pattern without recognizing its signs. You will not abandon yourself as quickly to keep someone else comfortable. Your circumstances may change, but your awareness has changed first. That is why congratulations is not a prediction, it is recognition. You have crossed an internal line. You can still have hard days, but hardship no longer means you are back at the beginning. You can still feel sadness, but sadness does not mean the old season reclaimed you. Progress is the presence of choice. If this message has given language to something you already felt changing, let your response be simple. You can write, "I receive peace," in the comments as a personal marker of the choice you are making today. Not as superstition, not as a bargain. Let it be a reminder that you are choosing a different relationship with your future. And if you know someone who has been living as though the next disaster is always around the corner, share this message with them. Sometimes people do not need another instruction. They need permission to believe the chapter can actually close. Your willingness to pass that permission forward may reach someone who has forgotten what rest feels like. Chosen one, you have nothing left to prove to the season that ended. You survived it. You learned from it. Now, leave the lesson where it belongs and carry only the wisdom forward. The next chapter does not need your fear, it needs your presence. Walk slowly into what comes next. Do not rush because you are excited. Do not retreat because you are afraid. Let your choices become quieter and stronger. Let your yes become more intentional. Let your no become cleaner. And let the peace you once begged for become something you finally allow yourself to keep. You are not returning to who you were before the pain. You are moving forward as someone who knows more and fears less. That is the transformation. That is the closing. The chapter is complete. The lesson has landed, and you are free to build without dragging the old battlefield into the new room. Congratulations, chosen one. It is over. Let the past stay finished. Let wisdom stay with you. Let peace become familiar. And when tomorrow comes, meet it as someone who no longer expects yesterday to repeat itself, because your awareness has changed, your boundaries have changed, and your response has changed. Carry that with you now. You do not need to chase the next sign. You do not need to force the next door. Stand where you are with gratitude and clarity. What belongs in your next season will meet a version of you that no longer confuses chaos with destiny. And that changes everything.